Welcome to the webinar. On today's leadership webinar, we are talking about how to overcome your insecurities and chase success your way. If you can hear me loud and clear, please just type a yes in the chat box. I know that I'm speaking on my end and you're hearing me on your end. It's fabulous to have all of you here today, but let's make sure that technology is our friend. If you can hear me, just type a yes in the chat box and then we'll get going. Thanks, Debbie, Monique, Dean, Colleen. Yes, all around. Thanks very much. On today's leadership webinar, we are talking about how to overcome your insecurities and chase your success your way. Let's face it, success is about as unique as your thumbprint. Yet if we look around us, advertisements, society, communities, families, friends, and teachers all work together to brainwash us into believing what success should look like. And with all of this brainwashing going on, it's no wonder that it looks odd when someone chases success in a way that is unique to them. Success is not about money or fancy cars or gizmos and gadgets, though it could be. And if it is, then it should be because you decided so, and not because society told you so. We're together for about an hour this morning for some learning and for a Q&A session at the end, but if you've got questions, just pop them all the way through and I'll try and pick it up as we go along. If I don't get to a question during the webinar, I'll certainly pop you an email afterwards with an answer. I'd love to keep the communication going. Let's just make this really engaged, and it's about us working together towards an outcome that we're all in the room, that we're aligned to, all of us together in the room. I'm so pleased that you're on the webinar this morning with me. Let's just aim to enjoy the next hour together and see what we can take out of it. This is me, Usha Maharaj. I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I'm also a brain-based coach. And before I left corporate about 5 years ago to start my own business, I was a director in a Big Four audit firm. I am passionate about helping people dream big and chase their version of success professionally and personally. The reason we're talking about overcoming your insecurities to chase success your way is because I've seen so many of my clients feeling stressed, out of balance, and unhappy with their careers, unhappy with what they've achieved, where they're heading, and in all of it feeling disconnected and in no way purpose-driven. And in working together, we uncover a common thread flowing through all of them, and that is the thread of chasing goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations that were never truly theirs to begin with. When you chase success that is not truly your version of success, there will come a day when you too will ask yourself why you're doing all of this. Maybe you'll also have an uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach or start to feel stressed and weighed down by the pressures of life. Like many of my clients and many of the people around you, you too may know where this feeling comes from or what it means to be feeling this way. The insecurities, stress, uneasiness we feel all stems from not knowing the most vital thing that we should all be hungry to discover. And that thing is who we really are. You see, when we are in the chase, racing towards success, a success that someone, somewhere decided was success, and when that version of success does not reflect the success that our inner self knows to be true, that is when we start to feel like something is amiss. I too was, until a few years ago, in the race to a version of success that was not really aligned to me. And while I appeared to be successful outwardly, on the inside, I started to feel anything but. Since figuring it out for myself and helping hundreds of others to discover this truth too, we're on this webinar in the hope that if you're struggling with this, that maybe this is a step toward realizing the source of your tension and making a move toward creating the success that is aligned to your true self. Now, I know that this is not true for everyone, but even if it does not represent you, maybe you know someone who is chasing a sort of generic version of success. If you do know someone like this, then pop a #MeToo in the chat box, and we'll know that we're all talking the same language and we're chasing the same message. If you know someone who has a lot, who looks successful, and who should be happy, but on the inside is really not. We're talking about chasing a version of success that may not be aligned to who you truly are, which you may recognize in yourself, or maybe you've seen it in someone you know. If this resonates with you, let us know by typing #MeToo in the chat box, and we'll know if we're all on the same page. Fazila, Albertus, Shimano, Monique, Dean, we're getting Me Too's coming through the chat box. Thanks, Clement. So I know that we're all on the same page, me too, and I've seen it over and over and over again. Hanneline, Karen, we all have a picture of success. Have you ever asked yourself, where has this picture come from? We live in a more of everything world. Thanks to great advertising, flawed beliefs, and imposed values, we perceive that to be a lot, we have to do a lot, learn a lot, read a lot, travel a lot, own a lot, earn a lot, spend a lot, hoard a lot, entertain a lot. And once we're done, we have to step up into the next level of more everything. In this more of everything world, success is defined by stuff, and more stuff. We attach labels of success and status based on the glamour of the home, vehicle, clothes, labels, gadgets, and gizmos. We go to work not for the love of how we serve, but for the amount of money it will pay. We believe that our personal success and status is dependent upon things, and so work harder and longer for the fancy house and manicured garden, but that we don't have the time to enjoy it. Or we extend ourselves so much that we have to work even longer and harder to pay off our debts each month. We're stuck in a vortex and a state of disillusionment, for we've acquired the things that society tells us should make us happy. We're feeling more stressed and depleted than ever before. Once we get the stuff, we don't take the time to enjoy it, but rather set our sights on the next better thing and start racing toward that. The more we have, the more we're chasing. The more we achieve, the more stressed we're feeling. Do you know that stress levels of mental health, unhappiness levels are at an all-time high? Not just in the companies that you work in, not just in the communities, just in South Africa or even Africa, but all around the world. When you look at your life, you see all of the things that you've acquired. The fancy home, fancy car, heaps of clothes, the latest gadgets and gizmos. We measure our success by all of these things that we have acquired, and in the process, forget what is most important: happiness and fulfillment. We look at those around us who have acquired all of the things that should make them happy and think how crazy it is when we hear that they're unhappy. There was a story in the media this week, maybe you've heard it, about a man, 55 years old, who committed suicide. He was someone who was recognized as being affluent, had a great job, acquired wealth, and by society standards, had everything that should have made him happy, but it didn't. Not that we could know or should even try and guess why he just couldn't go on anymore, but the message is clear, that the images that we have of success, the outer appearance, is not always the real thing. Why do we chase success this way anyway? We do it because we live in a society where we're chasing bigger, better, faster, stronger. A society where only more than the guy next door is more. We live in a society where we're programmed to look at the world through want more glasses, but are blind to what really matters. We're stuck in a vortex and a state of disillusionment, for we've acquired the things that society tells us should make us happy, but we're feeling more stressed and depleted than ever before. Most of us have more than we could ever need, and yet still live our lives in a belief-driven, society-influenced state of deprivation. This is sadly one of the contributors to the high stress levels of people around the world. I believe that if we create more awareness around this, if we change the context and shift the thinking, that the world will be a better and happier place where we thrive together. Let's ask ourselves these questions. Is success really about chasing what other people have? Nope. That's living up to the Joneses. Who are the Joneses anyway? Is success really buying everything that marketers tell us we should own? Nope. That's just succumbing to great advertising. Success must then be about chasing the mighty dollar. Surely success is about making more money, chasing pay over passion in your career. And no again. Chasing pay over passion is just an invitation to more stress. We are living in a world where we are driven by money, which represents success. Money to buy more stuff. Don't get me wrong, money is the enabler of most dreams, and earning money and trading that money for stuff is not the problem at all. The problem starts when you lose the connection between the work you're doing that provides the money you earn, which should be traded for the things in life that you value the most. The problem is losing that connection between the money and what we value. Not just any stuff, but the stuff that will bring you happiness and fulfillment, not the stuff that the Joneses have, or the stuff that marketers say we should have, but the stuff that matters most to us. All fairy tales seem to end this way, and they all lived happily ever after. Maybe happily ever after is a bit of a stretch. Life is life because of the ups and downs and the highs and lows. And they all lived more happily than not ever after. Maybe a better, if not more realistic place to start. What if your happiness could be a measure of your success rather than cars, gadgets, gizmos, or society's expectations? Look, marketers won't be as happy, and the Joneses may not be thrilled, but that's not our problem. All we care about is your happiness as a measure of your success. This is possible, but first you need to know who you truly are. Does this make sense to you? Going against the norm and feeling confident about it, is this something you would consider? I'd love to know your thoughts around this. Pop a comment in the chat box and let me know what you're thinking about all of this. About living in a society that dictates what success looks like. About being blinded by the expectations of others. About running on autopilot towards something that may not even be important to us. About measuring success in things rather than in feelings. I'd really love to know what you're thinking about the subject and what you've seen out there in society, what you might have experienced in your own life, what success means to you, and how society has driven us into believing or trying to fit into a box, a stereotypical boxed version of success that might not truly represent or reflect who we truly are. As we're going through the webinar this morning, just feel free to pop your comments and your thoughts in the chat box, and then we'll pick it up and maybe chat a little bit more about it as we go through the discussion this morning. I've spoken about clients that I have helped on this journey. One of the greatest insights and most consistent insight is the realization that chasing success their way is the only way. And once they see this, everything else just seems to fall into place. When you truly understand yourself, you will know that the things in life that you value the most are never the things that society values the most. By living your life to society's norms, you've lost yourself in the never-ending chase and forgotten who you are in the process. Clement says there's so much more to life than that. Agreed. And I agree with you too, Clement. When we're so busy chasing a version of success that society tells us is success, we forget how much more there is to life. And that's exactly it. You're the master of your life, and you have the power to live the life that you're destined for. Let's talk about how you can start to peel away the layers to find the true you, because only the true you knows what you should be chasing in life. Yes, Fazila, we're pressured each and every day for what other people have and what cars they're driving, and we think we'll be successful if we can have those things too. Exactly. That's the context with which we've been brought up and raised. That's the belief system of most people around us, and it becomes our belief system too. And it's so important to start questioning these beliefs, because when we're acting and taking steps based on these beliefs and these pressures, that's when we're doing things that go against our natural self, and that's where we start to find that level of discontentment. And what we want to do now is to look at, well, how can we step away from this? How can we stop feeling pressured by society? How can we start to take back our power, take back our control, and start to live our lives, map it out the way we should map it out, that reflects the true version of who we are. And when we do that, we'll stop feeling pressured. We'll stop chasing other people's dreams. We'll stop conforming to society, and we'll start feeling confident about doing the things that are important to us. And I've got 3 steps to take you through to get you started on this process. And here's step 1, really simple steps that if you actually go through them, you'll find you'll start to see shifts in your own life, and you'll start to discover what success truly means to you. It's time to peel away all the layers imposed on us by society. Peel away the beliefs and values that society has made so appealing, and return to your bare and true self. From this space, you will be able to identify the things you truly value. Often things like family, friends, teaching, learning, travel, helping society, well-being, fitness, financial security, etc. would feature in a set of values. Beliefs are judgments about yourself, about ourselves and the world around us. They are generalizations that either serve or hurt us and others. Examine your beliefs in relation to success and reflect on each belief until you discover its source. Do you believe that driving a fancy car means you are successful? Or are you buying the fancy car because other successful people have fancy cars? Banks and car dealers won't be excited when you come to the realization that a fancy car means very little to you. All you care about is having a safe and reliable car that gets you from point A to point B, and you won't be upgrading anytime soon because you're happy with what you have. Once you understand the importance of your values and beliefs, you're stepping into a place of power. In this place of power, you can identify the superficial, society-imposed values and beliefs and discover those that are true and meaningful to you. And then you live your life in service of these values and in service of these beliefs. Hanneline says she agrees. Thank you. Albertus, not able to achieve the dream I have for me. Albertus, I hope that once we've gone through this webinar and you actually take away some of the tips and maybe step into a process of goal setting, that you'll put a plan in place to achieve the dreams that are truly your dreams. Monique, for me, success is to make a positive impact and contribute at my work, but unfortunately, I am not in such a position. And that's exactly it. At times, we do feel handcuffed by our circumstances, and we do feel held down and unable to move forward. We feel stuck. But it's so important when we recognize what's truly valuable to us and what truly makes us happy that we start to bring even small snippets of those into our life, where we might not be able to make the scaled impact that we want. Maybe we can start to contribute in smaller steps now and work ourselves up to a place where we can contribute at scale. It's important to constantly take steps towards being and serving your true self. And that's what brings greater happiness to ourselves and also creates opportunities to serve in that space on a much larger scale. We're talking about step one, personal values and beliefs. And one of a pro tip that I'd like to share with you is a document developed by this man, Dr. John DeMartini. Not really a man, he's probably a guru in his field. Dr. John DeMartini has developed a powerful tool to help you identify what you value most in life. It's called the values determination process, which, like anything else, you can find online by searching Google. If you haven't done this process already, then go ahead onto Google, type in values determination process, and you'll find a whole lot of links that'll take you to Dr. John DeMartini's website. And he allows you to download this document free of charge, and you're able to go through a process that will help you to articulate what your top three values are. So it's a great action step to set for yourself. Go ahead and get the DeMartini values determination process completed. Identify your top three values, and then make sure that you're living your life in service of the values, your top three values, rather than in service of anybody else's. Alberta says, I agree with you. For me, other people are not an issue in my life, but my lack of and current disqualifications causes my biggest frustration. Alberta, definitely, when we have blocks and frustrations and challenges in our life, and if those blocks and challenges are stopping us from living our true life, then it's really important to think about and ask for help around how can I actually shift this forward? How can I take steps towards becoming qualified in the space that I need to be qualified? And there are barriers that all of us face. Those barriers could be time, they could be financial, they could be other resources. But if we set a plan in motion and start to take even the smallest steps toward it, you'll find that you're moving towards that rather than just standing still, acknowledging that you've got this frustration or this block in your life. So Alberta, thanks for sharing that. And I hope that you can start taking steps toward it, because we need people who are passionate about what they're doing and how they're serving. Let's move on to step two, understanding your personality traits. And these steps are here to help us to identify or to peel away the layers or to create a greater self-awareness to who we truly are. Because once we know that, once we know what's important to us, it's only then that we can start to develop a picture of success and build a level of confidence in ourselves in chasing that version of success. Let's look at the next step that you could take in uncovering the real you. And we're searching for the real you because that is where you'll find out what success means to you. And that is where you find the confidence to pursue your version of success. The second step is understanding your personality traits. One of the simplest and most effective ways to get to know yourself better is through profiling. There are tons of profiling tools available. All you need to do is Google them. Find one that suits you and just get it done. But is getting the profile enough? If only it could be that simple. Getting the profile can be considered an admin task. The magic comes from reading, understanding, interpreting, analyzing the information in the profile, and reflecting on this information to see how it shapes you and how it is visible in the aspects of your life. Apply the information in the report toward your thinking about success. Ask yourself, are they aligned? Consider what steps you should be taking to align your life to your true self. My profiling tool of choice is the contribution compass. If you haven't already done your profile, then I cannot recommend it enough. Reading your profile in the context of your definition of success is a powerful way to insights that will shift the way you think about success and the actions that you take thereafter. Contribution Compass also offers a detailed report. It's an online profiling system. At the end of completing your online profile, you get access to a detailed report which focuses and zones in on your strengths. And living a life where your strengths feature in everything that you do really allows you and helps you to build a life of creating value for yourself and for those around you. And when you're creating and adding value, you're already on a path to success that's going to generate a lot of happiness and contentment and fulfillment for yourself. If you complete these 2 steps, and really reflect on what success means to you, I have no doubt that you'll start to see a shift in how you chase success. When you start to chase success your way, you'll find that life starts to unfold in a very different way for you. An easy test for you. The next time you're faced with a buy decision on the latest gadget or a fancy pair of shoes, ask yourself whether this purchase is aligned to your true self. And if it is not directly aligned, then say no to that purchase. When you make this decision in alignment to your true self, that is when you've stepped into your power and are no longer being controlled by society, but being guided by your inner self. From this place of power, when you decide to work longer and harder, you will do it only if it is directly connected to what you value most. And if it is connected to what you value most, you will enjoy the additional responsibilities and deliverables. But if it is not, you'll feel stressed and frustrated. The bottom line is, if you live true to yourself and chase success your way, then success and happiness will cross your path. And we're about to move into closing. So if you have a question or a comment, pop it into the comment box, and we're going to be picking them up and going through them as we move toward the end of this webinar together. Basila, we've mentioned that we're pressured each and every day for what other people have and what cars they're driving, and we think we'll be successful if we can have those things. Clement, there's so much more to life than that. Agreed, absolutely. Shamano, interesting that unlike Albertus, my frustration is overqualification in my current field, sadly because I am a woman. Women empowerment, are we going into August, where we'll be flooded with topics of women empowerment. And women empowerment is something that I am 100% passionate about. And it's not because I think that women need to be empowered. It's because that the stereotypical boxes that women are put into that often hold them back in the workplace, in their careers, in their professions, and overqualification certainly shouldn't be one of them. Shamana, I would challenge you to look at how you can turn that around, because the service that you can bring into the space, into the world, into your communities, into the companies that you work for has to be more than you've possibly experienced up to this point. Makarebe is saying this webinar came at the right time for me personally, as I am in the season I call an alignment season and assessment. I am learning so much about myself and how most of my beliefs were shaped by the society, but the question that always pops up is, how do I figure out exactly who we truly are, and how do I start shifting from these limiting beliefs? Makarebe, that's spot on. Thank you so much for sharing your comment, and I'm so excited that you're listening to this webinar right now. We're all drawn to things at the right time, and things and in resources and information and people and content that's going to help us take us where we're going. And I certainly encourage you to start really focusing on uncovering who you truly are. And I've shared 2 steps in this webinar thus far, and I guarantee that if you go through those processes, you're going to start to peel away the layers and get to who you truly are. Hendrik says profiling is an awesome tool. Nolene says this is true. I agree with both of you. Albus, tempering conductor, you've completed your contribution compass profile. Excellent. And I know if you go back and read your profile again in context of what we're talking about in the webinar today, you're going to get new insights. You're going to see new information popping up that you can take away and that you can actually utilize to start developing a clearer picture of yourself and start to build a picture of what success looks like for you. Terence from Durban seeking clarification. Terence, if you're seeking clarification on the topic, what we've spoken about already, and if you have a specific question you'd like clarity on, pop it in the box and maybe we can pick it up before we close out this morning. Life is too short to live a version of life that is not really your version of life. I have no doubt that you can unlock all of the answers by yourself. But the reason all of my clients choose to work with me is because life is busy. And people put off until tomorrow what they can. And sadly, if you put this off for too long, someday it could be the reason you feel a sense of regret and the void that comes from living a life in service of something other than your true self. My final step and pro tip is to get help. It could be through someone like myself who's passionate about empowering others to live their best lives, or it could be through like-minded friends or family, or it could be through you just setting aside time, diarizing it, creating the space to start to work on yourself, to go within yourself, to search deeper within yourself for the answers that you know that will make a difference to the life that you're living. Just make a commitment to yourself to make this happen. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Some things are just way too important until tomorrow. The world needs you to be you. And my wish is that you want this for yourself more than anything else, and you want it for yourself right now. Clement says the recommended profiling tools state that I am almost equally split into all 4 profiles. Is this an advantage or does it work against me? Clement, the profiling tool would have told you what profile you are, but the 4 profiles that you're talking about are the 4 energies. And every single profile, now we're talking contribution compass, all of the profiles, every single person would be put into one of 8 profiles, which matches who you are. And every single person has a percentage of the 4 energies. So if we look at the contribution compass, and there's a picture that will pop up on your screen, you'll see that there are 8 profiles, so you're one of 8 profiles, and then you've got a percentage of the 4 energies, which is your activating, inspiring, sustaining, and tempering energies. It's really important to understand the strengths of your profile and how your profile impacts the decisions that you make and the actions that you take in life. It's equally important to understand how the energies play a role in how you're living out your life and in how you're taking action every day in your life. The energies, the energy mix that we have between activating, inspiring, sustaining, and tempering really help to balance us. And often we find we're feeling in a state of imbalance. We're feeling like we're not doing everything that we should be doing. And it's because we might be starving ourselves from living in one of the 4 energies or in 2 of the 4 energies. So we've got to, just like we try to balance everything out in our life, when we read our contribution compass reports, we want to try and balance out how we're bringing all 4 energies into our lives as often as possible. And that starts to create a greater sense of balance and happiness within us as well. But that's a contribution compass discussion, and I don't want to go any further into that right now. But certainly, if you've done your contribution compass or if you've done any other profiling, read the reports and go back and read them again after this webinar. And I guarantee you're going to have different insights that come up for you, and maybe you can set 1 or 2 actions around those insights. Terence, have we start, as nothing's on my side, Terence, please hit the play button and there'll be a link to a replay webinar that'll come out and you can catch all of it on the replay. Duke, I'm working with people who don't share the same vision with me, and now I don't feel like I belong here. I need change, but not confident enough. Duke, when we're in a space where we're working with teams or even in a company where the vision is not aligned with ours, or where the values are not aligned with our values, we start to feel a sense of unhappiness and discontentment. It's really important to look at your current situation and to look at whether there's any possibility of impacting the vision. And often if we're just one person in a large company or in a large team, it's difficult to impact the vision or the values. But it's important to consider whether that's a possibility, whether you can align yourself to that vision or those values. And if not, then start to consider what are the steps that I need to take. And a lot of us feel miserable every single day because we're stuck in situations where we're in teams or in companies, in organizations where we're not aligned from a values or vision perspective. It's important to acknowledge that and to start thinking about how can I set some actions, goals, how can I empower myself to change the situation or change the circumstances that I'll find myself in. Maurice, I also wanted to know if the webinar is already on or I can see it. Maurice, please hit the play button. And if you do that and you can't see it on your screen, there'll be a link to a replay that'll come out shortly. Duke, I'm a connector on the Contribution Compass. Excellent, Duke, connector profile, probably high inspiring energy. Go back and read your report in light of the webinar today, and I guarantee you're going to pop up with a few aha moments and some insights that you can set actions around. Terence, I'm a new small business owner, hoping for our first break. Terence, being a new small business owner, anyone in the SME space, I have huge respect for you. Entrepreneurs, certainly, it's not an easy space to be in. There's so much of hustling to be done, but you've got such an important role to play. So hustle on, make it happen, just align your business to your values and your vision, and make sure that your strengths are featuring in what you're doing and how you're serving, and build a team around you to fill in the gaps in your strengths. And I have no doubt that you'll create a successful business that will impact many more. Clement, thank you kindly, much obliged. Thank you, Clement. Thanks for being on the webinar with us this morning and for sharing as we're going through the discussion here. Thank you to all of you for being here today and for sharing the space and for sharing your thoughts and your comments. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and we'll be leaving determined to uncover your true version of success and excited about working toward achieving it. When we're not chasing success our way, and when we're chasing a version of success that is aligned to society's more than ours, and then when we try to shift away from it, there is going to be a time where we start to question ourselves, where we feel insecure about chasing this new version of success. But trust yourself. Trust that if you're being who you truly are, it's going to create happiness for you. It's going to create fulfillment. It's going to create benefits far greater than the benefits we gain from chasing success that's not true to who we truly are. My invitation to you is connect with me on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. I'd love to have you in my network, and I'd love to engage with you on all of these platforms. And that brings us to the end of the webinar this morning, where we were speaking about how to overcome your insecurities and chase your success your way. We've gone through some tips and tools that you could apply to uncover what success means to you. And I hope that it creates a space where you feel more confident to do it your way, to make things happen and to make them happen in a way that suits you and that is best for you. Chuma says, thank you. You have reminded us on the importance of self-introspection. Absolutely. Self-awareness, self-reflection, self-introspection. I could not emphasize it enough. And we should all be doing it and doing it as often as possible to keep us centered and to keep us on a path where we're serving ourselves always. Glenn says, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for joining. Greg, thank you to Usha and Enshrine. Sakile, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to all of you for joining us on the webinar this morning. I truly hope that you have a fabulous day going forward. And I more than that truly hope that you take away some actions that you're able to implement, that you start building your confidence up to chase your success your way, because the world needs you to do just that. Hendrik says, thank you for the presentation. Wish me well for my interview tomorrow. Hendrik, all the best for your interview tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's going to go fabulously. All the best for that. Hanneline, thank you so much. Fariel, thanks for opening my mind. Thank you, Fariel, for being open to opening your mind. That's the only way that I can impact you, is when you're open to listening and empowering yourself. Dean, thank you to Usha and Stein. Hanneline, good luck. Hendrik, good luck from all of us. Absolutely. On that note, I'd like to close the webinar this morning. Have a super day forward, and I hope to see you soon on the next one. That's it from me. Goodbye.